It's another Formula One show, and we're going to be discussing Windsor's comparison of Verstappen and Oscar Piastri. And we need to do that is Kunle Williams, Mr. Johnny, and Mustafa Jinodin. My name is Steve Afolabi. Welcome to the show.
Okay, Peter Windsor, I call him Baba Windsor, the old grandee of F1 pundits, has stirred some controversy by saying that even Verstappen would struggle to beat Piastri now with the way that Piastri is driving. Now we have to remember this is the same This is the same Windsor who 4 weeks ago said Max Verstappen would destroy Piastri. So I'm not trying to go against Peter Windsor, but he, like a lot of people, he goes with the tide of the wind. If Norris wins next week, Norris has overcome all his problems. He's the greatest. Then if Norris loses next week, oh, Norris is horrible. He will never win a championship. So the only consistent is that Verstappen is good. Now, I will say this much. Piastri is a dangerous driver because he's consistent. Also, the way he drives the corners is like Verstappen. He waits for the car to rotate and everything like that. And Piastri is good at passing at the start of the race. Also, he's good at passing during the race when he's behind. He makes stuff. So I'll say that he's a very accurate driver, but he's not in the same league as Verstappen because even though he may have some of the same moves as Verstappen, Verstappen can do those moves at, I'm exaggerating, but at 3 to 4 times the speed. So what I'm saying is that Verstappen is faster. He can go at a higher speed. Norris purposely reduces his he doesn't push it to the limit, but he's accurate. So Norris makes accurate passes, but he stays within his limit. Whereas someone like what's his name? Norris tries to push it to the limit, but sometimes messes up. So I think that if Verstappen drove with Piastri in that same car, he would still destroy Piastri. But I will say that Piastri is getting better and better, so that Verstappen would have to take Piastri seriously. And also, one thing I'll add before I go to you, Mr. Johnny, Mr. Windsor said that Piastri would give Verstappen the most attention on the grid. No, I think it would still be George Russell. That would be George Russell would give Verstappen a few more problems because George Russell is a polished all-round driver who doesn't have any weaknesses. It's just that he's not in the car right now. What do you think, Mr. Johnny?
Yeah, well, just to humor Sir Windsor, but I would say that. But I would still say that, like you said, Piastri is not in the same league with Verstappen. Even we've seen how Verstappen has dismissed Piastri in stats. If we have Verstappen in pole,
yeah.
Even if you have Piastri in pole and have Verstappen in second, Verstappen 9 out of 10 times Verstappen would overtake him at the start. And even depend whatever car whatever car. Don't talk of McLaren. So I think the guy is just talking bees and
and it was even in the middle of a quote. It's like you and me talking. So they took the quote and they made it big news next day. But it was just a small statement he made. It wasn't like that was the whole topic for the whole show, But I'll say this much also. Maybe you agree with me, Mr. Johnny. Piastri also wears his tires out. He doesn't drive well from the front. So, if Piastri is leading, a lot of times if you push him, his tire management is not that great. I'm not trying to diss him, but that's one weakness he has. Even Norris at times has been catching Piastri. So Piastri's race pace is not that great. What do you think, Mr.? I'm not saying it's terrible, but compared to George Russell, even Lando Norris and Verstappen, his race racecraft is good, but his race pace is a little bit weak. What do you think, Johnny, before we go to Kunle?
Yeah, I would say his race pace is also because Norris can always catch him. Even Norris could have actually given him a hard time if not for the mistake of the tires that they put on. If not, Norris would have caught up with him and it would have been like a real fight. So his race pace can be quite questionable.
But the only thing scary about Piastri that this is his 3rd year and he's getting better and better every year. So he's going to get better. I'm not sure if he's going. I don't think he's going to get to the level of a Verstappen, but the guy's going to be dangerous. And one thing about Piastri, even with Verstappen, you never know. Verstappen can get emotional and mess up. You're never going to see Piastri mess up any day. I haven't even seen him make a major error. Once in a while, Verstappen will get angry and bump into someone, or Verstappen will. Once in a while, he'll make a uncharacteristic mistake because he pushes too hard. But that's one thing about Piastri. He doesn't push. Yeah. What are your thoughts, Mr. Kunle?
Well, one more thing. Piastri. Sorry.
Johnny has one more thing. Sorry, Mr. Kunle.
Piastri could actually develop into like a fantastic driver, any driver, any good driver, all it just needs is a good car that you can have for like 3-4 years. Then you're going to just develop into something, like that. So who knows what
hiking it.
Yeah, if Mercedes if McLaren can have this car for like 4 years, they actually will just become one kind of monster, one kind of thing that we've never seen before. So
you're
just
right, because
it happened to Hamilton.
Confidence and momentum.
Yes, but if you have a car that is not good to this year, then next year is bad, and then it always stunts the growth of a world championship driver.
That's what's happening with it's the opposite of what's happening with Hamilton now. He's like, man,
Hamilton has already got it. He has already got. I mean, he won it 7 times. Yeah.
No, I mean, now his driving is going down because of this inconsistency in the car.
Exactly.
Too.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes.
Thanks. Very good one. What are your thoughts, Mr. Kunle?
Yeah, I think the main theme that Windsor has picked up on in respect of Piastri is his improvement as a driver as this season has progressed.
Yeah.
Yes, he has improved drastically, but there are still areas where when he tries to go up against Verstappen is still his daddy and he kicks him down. The question is, what is the ceiling of improvement of Piastri? I think Windsor is being a bit disingenuous. Maybe he's following some client journalism agenda to exaggerate his improvement, to say that he's actually at a level with Verstappen at this point. I mean, we've seen how Red Bull is struggling as a car. To tell you that a lot of what Red Bull is even achieving is because of, not in spite of, Verstappen. You can see how the Mercedes, despite of Russell's abilities, the Mercedes seems to be falling off as well. So we need to calm down on Piastri's improvement. However, all I will say about that is that we don't know where his ceiling is as yet, because he is still progressively improving. I get the feeling that he's beginning to overhaul Norris now, ever so slightly. I don't think he has it completely against him, but I think that over the next 3 races, he's going to outperform Norris.
Yeah. We can talk a little bit about that. Farber, you don't have that track for Hungary. I think I forgot to tell you about it, right? Yeah.
Oh, I forgot.
No, don't worry about it. We'll do Hungary tomorrow. Don't worry. So, Farber, what are your thoughts? Yeah.
Yeah, this pieces by Papa Windsor, I think he doesn't have enough sufficient data, and it also ignores some performance metrics. Like, if you look at it, how many wheel-to-wheel comparison have they really had? That's Piastri and Verstappen. Not many. And it looks like an over.
I remember that Piastri beat him to the corner that one week and everybody was shouting. But then the next week he did the same thing to Piastri. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think it's an oversimplification. And if you look at it, making such a definitive judgment is based on isolated circumstances, like in Jeddah, I think. And then if you look at the way Verstappen has dominated since 2021, he has adapted to different regulations, different car characteristics. He can extract performance across different track types and weather conditions. So I don't think he has enough data to draw such a conclusion. I think
I will say this much.
The
only thing we can say is that
to draw that conclusion, because if
the only thing we can say is that. Go ahead.
Yeah, if he's only looking at isolated instances, then you can't say with the same machinery. But
he uses some. I'm going to use big words from psychology. He uses qualitative evidence, so he doesn't have data. But the qualitative evidence is that I'll give credit to Piastri. Piastri is cold and efficient with how he drives. So he's saying that Piastri may be one of the most efficient drivers on the grid. I even think he might be a little bit more efficient than Verstappen, because Verstappen likes an asymmetrical driving style. So Verstappen does a lot better on the fast corners than he does on the slow corners, because Verstappen's driving style. Verstappen doesn't want to change his driving style to the slow corners to make it tight. But Piastri also struggles on slow corners a little bit, because we all know slow corners is Norris's specialty. Kule says it. Slow car, fast car, slow corners. Slow driver.
The way I like to look at it is that you have to look at both sides of the analysis. If you give Verstappen a McLaren car right now, how would it, pan out? And
he'll drive the corner.
And if you did Piastri, the RB20 of Red Bull, how would it, before you can begin to draw conclusions, you have to look at both scenarios. Who will come out better from both
I think
scenarios?
that if you gave Piastri that car, he would do better than Tsunoda and those guys did. But oh, by the way, you guys know Tsunoda came 7th in qualifying last week, even though he didn't do well in the race because of the rain. It wasn't his fault. They gave him a bad strategy. But Tsunoda's getting better. But I think bringing that new guy, Lauren Mercuse, is good because it seems like the car is going to get more generic and more balanced. It may not have enough speed yet, but it seemed like they did well within the first week. Quickly, what do you think about that, Kunle? About Red Bull's first week?
The Red Bull car. The Red Bull car. I mean, I am of the opinion that Red Bull, this is one of its last 2 or 3 seasons. I think that the loss of Horner is not going to show in the short term. I think the car is still going to look pretty much okay. Like you said, Tsunoda did pretty well with it in qualifying, even though his racecraft was still lacking. So the car seems to be showing some short-term improvement, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I do feel that Verstappen is going to qualify fast enough in that car. He won't be a free agent, but I think that he's still going to leave Red Bull. And when he does, Red Bull's going to suffer.
Yeah. And I'll go back. I still think Red Bull has the best engineering team for setup day to day, but their concept is so messed up. They need a designer. Also, I think that they shouldn't have got rid of they should have kept Horner instead of Verstappen because Horner brings a lot of money and connections, and he found Vettel, he found Verstappen, so he'll find someone again. I think they should have kept him. What do you think, Kunle? Before we go to Mr. John.
Yeah, it's not just that they've lost him; it's also that he's gone to the competition as well. So you also lose those contacts of Horner, but those contacts of Horner are now being used to work against you at a disadvantage. And the kind of teams that he's courting are teams like Mercedes and
Ferrari, Alpine.
That would be a big problem. I think Verstappen would match McLaren very well. He would replace because McLaren mechanics seem to have the same. Yeah, they seem to have the same addiction to perfection that Verstappen does. If they combine that, then all they need is to get the racecraft, and that's a perfect storm right there.
And they're saying that this is F1 rumors. There are rumors that maybe Norris will go to Red Bull. I'm serious. There's some rumors and you know what? The thing about F1, remember F1 is a circus. If something like that happens, it's gonna be fantastic. Could you imagine Verstappen and Piastri on the same team, and then Norris has to struggle with that pointy car? That would be crazy.
Reminds me of that dancing competition when you dance around the chairs, musical chairs.
I promise you that within 2 years, Verstappen will be on a new team, and there's something fantastic is going to happen in F1 to draw in the viewers because all of these guys are in together, man. This is WWE to the max. What are your thoughts, Johnny?
Oh yeah, well, Verstappen and Norris in the same car. Well, you can never tell. Yeah, like you said.
Oh, Verstappen and Piastri.
Yeah, Piastri.
In McLaren. That would be a good one, though.
Yes, that would be very interesting. I mean, it might as well happen. Next year, the cars are going to also look very, very different. I mean, not really look different, but things are the engine. Well, we'll see how that one goes.
Very quickly, when they move back to the next cars next year, I look out for Hamilton and Verstappen. The reason I say so is that Hamilton and Verstappen were driving with the old cars and they did well. Then they went with these new ground effects cars. Hamilton suffered, but Verstappen did well. Then they'll be going back to another car. So guys like Hamilton, Alonso, and Verstappen have been through different eras of cars, so they'll make the transition better than the younger guys. Going back to what you were saying before, Mr. Afolabi, what do you think? Adaptability,
Yeah, and that's one area where I feel Max Verstappen is superior to Piastri and all of these other drivers. His racecraft is on another level. He seems to make the most of extreme circumstances, that you don't even expect him to perform. And because of that, I continue to say the fact that assertion is limited only to qualitative arguments.
About the
F1 is all about data and metrics. When it comes to data and metrics, it lacks merit, really, because they have not had a lot of wheel-to-wheel comparisons to draw that conclusion.
Yeah. And if you go on
Verstappen has been more consistent across all metrics.
Although I will say that this guy, like I say, qualitatively though, I think Piastri is a good racer. He he passes better than Norris does, like from behind from people. Piastri is very good. Even if he's even with Verstappen on racing, I'm not saying he is, but even if he is, Verstappen will beat him on one lap performance. Look at how many times Verstappen has gotten pole position this year in that car when he shouldn't get it. Yeah, so I don't think it's close. Last thoughts, Mr. Johnny, then Kunle will take us out. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. You got a great show. Mr. Johnny's right, man. People going to stop subscribing. We're going to get into the millions on this show, man. Go ahead, Mr. Johnny.
Yeah, last thought is like just it's like just 2020 hindsight. I was just thinking about the race.
Yeah.
Like now, Lando switching to the hard tires actually forced Piastri to go to the end in his yellows.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
If Lando was on the yellows, everybody would have known that they have to change over at any point in time. So it would have been a race. It would have been a race 2 times a race. They would have tried to overtake each other on the racetrack, and they would have tried to go in the second again in the pit lane again when they went for the second change again.
So maybe that's why McLaren made them use different tires, because they didn't want that to happen. Yeah.
The strategy guys, they made a mistake. They thought they'll be smart. You know, if it was hot temperature, if the temperature was hot, those mediums could not have gone to the end. They would have needed to change because the temperature
and also only because of mistakes. Norris should have been able to catch Piastri.
Yes,
not beat him, but they should have been racing each other for the last lap.
Maybe one of them would have crashed out. I don't know, something like that. You never know.
Yeah, I'm still hoping they crash 2 times so Verstappen can come back. But this season is over. It's time to focus on the fight between those 2 guys. Okay, Kole, what are your last thoughts? Yeah. And you can take us out.
Yeah, so we've been able to discuss the dominance of McLaren versus the efforts of Red Bull to stay relevant in the fight. We didn't really discuss Ferrari today, but it has been an exciting discussion of the sport that is international motorsport.
International wrestling.
Of this competition moves on to Hungary. Yes, and it moves on to Hungary. And from myself, Mustafa, and Johnny, and Afolabi, I bid you till the next time. Adieu. And we'll see you on the next one.
Adieu, yes.
Don't forget to like.
Yeah, tomorrow, hopefully, same time, we'll do the Hungary. Bye-bye. We'll do the Hungary Grand Prix tomorrow. The preview.
All right, cool.
All right, good show.